Uncle Winnie, a bit gumpy guts is old Uncle Winnie, mostly because how the media is reporting this change of policy, law, rules around. It's about how we're reporting it, not the actual idea that it's. And I will say this bluntly, it's. I found the perfect example of this today, Chewie. I wrote a tweet, and it said, "There won't be any more houses in that $4 to $5 million band, because if your house is worth 4.5, are you going to leave it there or are you going to put it to 5? For some person who's worth $500 million, do you think they care about going from 4.5 to 5? No. So the $4 million houses will disappear, that band, right? And that means the people who would have been in that band, New Zealanders, they'll go down to the next band, which is the $3 to $4 million, which they'll buy comfortably because they could have stretched. And that means the people that were in the $3 to $4 million band will be pushed out by the people who can pay more for their houses, and they'll go down and they'll go down and they'll go down, and it'll increase the prices of all houses, and it'll make it harder for first-time buyers to get in. That's what this will end up doing. So when Luxon said it's only 10,000 houses, no. If your house is worth 4.7, do you honestly think you're not going to put it on for 5.1? All the negotiations are gone. You got a foreign buyer. They can't pay you 4.95 for it. They have to pay you 5 for it. How many $5 million houses do you think are going to be out there? But I did realize one thing, Chewie. Finally, Mr. Luxon has been correct in that this is putting downward pressure, not on rents, but on prices, because it's going to go down and down and down as the prices go up. So downward pressure is finally coming. Not the good stuff, though. The bad stuff. So this is what Mr. Peters had to say today about how the media are reporting this story.
Right, instrumental in enacting the original foreign buyers ban. Just going back to the earlier story that we were talking about there with Robbie Paul, was New Zealand First Leader, Foreign Minister Winston Peters. Does this latest change allowing wealthy investors to buy a house in New Zealand represent any kind of loosening of the policy?
Yes.
Winston Peters, Foreign Minister, joins me now on the line from Northland. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Look, I understand that you are very focused in your language here. You don't want us referring to this as a loosening of the foreign buyer.
Don't want us reporters reporting in an accurate way. You don't want that. It's like Luxon going, I don't pay attention to the polls when they're bad. Winston Peters, I don't want you guys reporting it this way, which is accurate.
Ban. Can you explain why?
Well, because over 99% of the market is denied to them. They can't purchase it. They can't be involved in it.
Hang on. You say you don't want the reporters to say it's loosening the rules. And then you're also saying that they can buy in that 1%, even what your numbers are saying, which means the rules have been loosened. So you can't say this is not loosening the rules when the rules have been loosened so they can get into that 1% number you're using.
The market is denied to them. They can't purchase it. They can't be involved in it. And over 99% of the market means that the foreign buyers ban remains. What we've changed is if someone's going to spend $5 million or more, and many are spending $20 or $30 million or more, then they will be able to buy a house, providing the house, whether it's an old one or a new one to be built, is $5 million or more. Now, that's a massive change in terms of the standards that the National Party was setting when they said you could buy one for $2 million whether you were invested or not.
So you feel like you've managed to bring some change here to this?
Well, the National Party's policy was $2 million, whether you invested or not, you can be a foreign buyer, and then no qualifications. And we came along and said, no, you can't do that.
God, he's sounding old. Like... I mean, like, I'm not actually saying this in a mocking way. Some people might say, don't kind of say that sort of thing, but he's just sounding old, and he's struggling and burbling through these words, and he's our foreign minister. Sorry, you're going to say something, Chewie?
I was going to say it's also aided by the fact that he's calling in from what feels like the same phone line that Winston Churchill used in 1943.
I thought you were going to say he's calling in from the 1940s. Yeah.
We will fight on the beaches. We will fight them everywhere. Yeah. He sounds old and from the past.
Yeah. Well, which are both true, actually.
That'll be a competitive in the New Zealand market. It'll be up against Kiwi buyers is not fair. We want a policy that actually accesses the interests of the investor in the New Zealand market, accesses their funds, but also gives them a right to live here if they buy a house of a certain limit.
Wasn't that also
$5 million or more?
Wasn't that also possibly the sort of thing that you could have done back in 2018 when you instituted the ban in the first place?
Yes.
If,
So if this is the right answer now, Winston, why did you not implement it in 2018? Which he actually has he basically just says, no one thought of it, which is he gets out of the question, but I don't think we believe him.
Getting a target on investment was part of this.
Of course, you're right. But no one thought of it at the time because people were so upset with the amount of foreign buying that was going on. So that's how the blanket reaction happened. You're quite right. We could have done that in 2018, and that would have been a sound policy way back then. But that's what happens when you have quite a violent electoral reaction to offshore buying, as happened also in the west coast of Canada and Vancouver in particular.
Yeah, explain that to me a little bit. I heard you referring to what happened to Canada there. Is this, you've got a concern that the money that comes in on the back of all of this investment is just going to sort of blow in and blow out again? What's the problem there?
No, what happened in Canada was it came in and it blew the market price through the roof. So instead of competing against Canadians, the Canadians were competing against the world. And that's what the National Party's prospect would have had for us as well if we'd have gone with a 2 million policy. And that's why we decided, no, you're not competing against the rest of the world. In fact, we're only going to be accessing that to investors putting in billions of dollars, which we desperately need.
Yeah. Well, that's not even true, Mr. Peters. It's not for investors putting in billions of dollars. It's for investors putting in $5 million. So come on, let's not get around that. The other thing is, this is I think one of the most important questions we asked last night to Kieran is, what about farms? We don't know about that yet. The next important question, which we didn't ask last night, but we'll ask right now, if someone's listening, is after they've bought their $5 million home and after they've invested their $5 million into business, can they then buy any home they want after that? Are you going to see wealthy people coming to New Zealand, spending 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million on a home, and then go, hey, this landlord thing's pretty good in New Zealand. Let's buy another dozen homes that are between 800,000 and 2 million. We don't know that yet either. Now, and just finally, Chewie, he said a lot of houses were being purchased internationally, and that's why they made the changes in 2018. So in 2017, there was 90,000 houses sold in New Zealand. 90,000. According to interest.co.nz, 3,369 dwellings were purchased in 2017 and 1,770 sales in the same year. I'm not quite sure why there's a difference between those two numbers. So let's just split the difference. There's probably 2,500 or so international sales out of 90,000. Now that's not nothing. That's 3%. Is that a lot though? I don't know, but that's so say 3% of the houses purchased in 2017 were to foreign buyers. It does actually feel like quite a lot. Is that a huge amount though? Yeah, I mean, what's that? 1 in 30 houses being sold to a foreigner, someone not from New Zealand. So
no, that sounds it sounds a bit scapegoaty, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, if there was 90,000 houses sold, but there was 200,000 New Zealanders that were trying to buy a house, then those 3,000 that were sold to foreign nationals, that's 3,000 that miss out of the Kiwis that are going to miss out. So I don't know. I don't know what I think about that. It doesn't feel like a big number, but 3% might be a lot. Be interesting to see what the chat thinks. The chat will always correct me. Is that a big number? 3% to foreign nationals? Is that a big number? Yeah. Any thoughts there, Chewie, about old man Time himself?
Oh, just as growing irrelevance. Yeah, look, he can spin this as much as he wants. Like anything that holds up a mirror to Winston Peters' combative hypocrisy is A-OK by me. But yeah, this whole thing just seems to be a bit of a beat up. Like, we have a housing problem, and it's not because we're not creating enough $5 million homes for people. It's because we are enabling the tax black hole that is home ownership in general. But, you know, my investment portfolio is such an entrenched way of making money in this country. But also, it's such a focused thing. Like, it affects one particular generation. The guys that realized, you know, in the early 90s, that there were such big tax benefits to just buying a home and then going to your bank and going, I own a home. I want to put that up for collateral so I can buy another home, and then another home, and then another home. And our lawmakers did it. So they didn't want to shoot the golden goose. It's not mansions. It's just ordinary 2, 3, 4 bedroom homes. And your question is, like, once these guys tick the box of, yes, I've invested $5 million. Yes, I've bought a $5 million home. Now I'm a citizen. I understand that if I just take all of my other money and just buy a couple of streets, that there is no tax obligations. This is something that I can't do in my home country. It's something that I can't do in a range of countries. And that, as well as, I don't know, cheese rolls, Morrow bars, the All Blacks, is what brought me to your country. So I think if we need to protect New Zealand and New Zealanders and the idea that we should all have a house to live in, we need to fix the housing market. And that's a much bigger question.
Because if you think about this just logically, I don't see how, if you are a resident in New Zealand, like after you've become a resident or a citizen, legally you can be stopped from buying whatever the fuck you want when it comes to houses.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what, once you're past that point,
yeah,
you know, there's nothing stopping you.